the NI Golf Podcast with Paul Kelly and Maurice J.
It certainly is. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be listening to the NI Golf Podcast episode
51.
And with about 350 odd days left until the first ball is struck in anger at the 2019 Open Championship, we've taken the podcast on the road. Today we are live at Royal Portrush.
We're actually in the committee room. All the big decisions get made up here.
Absolutely, in the hallowed turf of Royal Portrush. We'll also be reflecting on our own impressions of the 147th Open at Carnoustie, won so impressively by Italian Francesco Molinari. We'll be looking ahead to next year with Graham McNeil, the head pro here at Royal Portrush, and the course manager Graham Bett is going to give us a wee tour as well. But before any of that, to get you in the mood, here's a wee 2019 promo put together by the Golf Channel.
For the first time in 68 years, the one true test returns to Northern Ireland. The biggest party in golf just got even bigger. Be part of forever. The Open.
The biggest party in golf just got bigger.
Gets you going, doesn't it?
That's a good line, that.
It is a good line from the Golf Channel guys.
And
that's our Jimmy Nesbitt.
That's our Nesbitt. Nesbitt sounded good doing that, I have to say.
If you get a chance, there's a great clip, all the past champions and nice flyover scenes of the course and the area, so it's really gets you going.
It started already, and it actually started on Sunday afternoon whenever the big yellow scoreboard put up see you in Royal Portrush,
and everybody went
I know, especially I'm sure people here who were over. I'm sure we'll chat to them about being over and stuff.
So we were over, luckily enough, at Carnoustie on the Friday through the good auspices of the Tourism A&I people, and I have to say now that was a big deal for me. I don't know about you.
It was a big deal for me too.
Very big deal for me because I've covered a lot of golf events. I've covered Ryder Cups, I've covered numerous Irish Opens, I've been to the Walker Cup. I've never been to an Open.
Your first Open?
It was a debut visit to the Open Championship, and quite simply it was brilliant. It was all I could have wanted it to be, from the point of view that I didn't have to work at it. And I was able to sit behind the 18th green in the grandstand for about 2 hours,
just watching the world's greatest coming through.
Tiger Woods
in the rain,
Big Phil, Ernie, Rory. It was just... And
Bubba.
I remember sitting there. I was sitting there by myself because it was wet. There wasn't a lot of people around. And I was sitting there and I was looking around at the vista of all the grandstands and the big iconic yellow scoreboards, and I was thinking to myself, oh my God, this is coming to Portrush.
This is coming to Portrush. That's exactly what I was thinking. And when you see the size of the infrastructure, when you see the level of sort of securities, but the level of organisation that goes into the whole
number of
thing.
Volunteers, Morris.
It must have been thousands. Hundreds, if not thousands.
Like even people out on the roads round Carnoustie pointing you in the right direction, trying not to get us lost, which we did. But that sort of thing, and then obviously the numerous marshals. You were good with the marshals. You and the marshals had a good time, didn't they?
Why?
You and the marshals discussing photographs at one stage.
Oh, aye.
Yeah.
I didn't realise they were so tight on that, because obviously the European tour
is totally different.
They don't mind as long as your phone's on silent.
Yeah.
They don't mind you taking photographs.
Social media is a big thing for them.
Yeah. But this one particular marshal, we were standing at the side of the 18th taking, I think it was a pic of Dunners.
Yes, Paul
as Dunners was coming through, and he came over and he said, "No photographs." And he shoved my arm. "No photographs." Sorry, it's on silent, doesn't matter. Wee bit of a job's worth, perhaps.
Possibly.
But
the Open was just so big. It was so much of a step up from what we're used to, the Irish Open.
And we're used to big Irish Opens.
But at one stage I was looking down, I was watching Tiger finish. They were 15 deep. That's the sort of people... I wonder if people here have got this in their head yet.
How big this is.
There's 15 rows deep of people standing along the side of the 18th fairway trying to watch Tiger Woods.
Who will be here next year.
It's just Mental.
And that's why there's a big push on from all of the powers that be to get the tickets in advance, because you're not going to be able to buy tickets whenever you turn up at the event. It's the first time ever that you can't buy tickets on the gate.
Yeah.
There's a certain number of tickets available. It's about 190,000 in total.
50,000 day approach.
Roughly speaking. So that's why there's going to be a big push on to get them in advance.
And the tickets, as we know, we've heard already, are flying off the shelf. People are buying them up like nobody's business because, as I've said before, this is historic.
Well, we put a wee video up of our flying visit to the Open, and and it says at the end of the video, get your tickets soon. And people are saying, I've already got mine.
Yeah.
People have joined the one club, which is the RNA's
Exactly.
Open Club.
Exactly.
They've joined that just to make sure that they get their tickets early enough to make sure that they're going to be here for the biggest sporting event ever to come to Northern Ireland.
Well, I was reflecting on the whole experience and being over there for the day, and I have to say we were rarely looked after in Tourism in Ireland.
We were in a hospitality room, which was at the back of Carnoustie Golf Club. Right, normally in that room you would look out over the 18th green.
That's right.
But didn't they go and stick up blooming stands and grandstands? That's very selfish of them.
But at the
spoil
same time,
our view.
was not where the players were walking past to go into the clubhouse.
Well, this is exactly the point. They put us basically at the very end of the players' walkway.
That's right.
And they had to come down the steps beside us, with us all going, I want to beat you,
Tiger, Phil,
and walk right past us to go into the clubhouse, which was the where they were staying,
their lounge,
and their locker and their lounge and everything. So we had an amazing view. Said hello to a few people, who
were friendly enough. There was nobody went fuck off. I'm not going near.
No, even Tiger said hello.
Tiger said hello.
Phil gave us a wave. Tom Watson said hello.
That's right.
It was amazing to see, and a lot of these golfers we haven't had the pleasure. I've certainly never had the pleasure of seeing up close and personal, because they don't generally play the Irish Open.
No, they haven't. When I was thinking back on it, there's a couple of things that struck me. Number one, just how loud are the seagulls in Carnoustie?
Well, they have to be to counteract the crowd, you see.
Have you ever heard anything like that? It was mental. But the funniest thing was sitting there in the 18th watching the players, and on the first tee, which was just over the grandstand at the back, you couldn't just see them, but you could hear the crowds, on the tee from Iceland. I'm not even going to try and say his name, but you've heard of the old Icelandic thunderclap.
Yes.
There was one poor Iceland fan going, woo, and trying to get a thunderclap going with two other people in the stadium.
Didn't work.
And also when we were sitting there was a guy, the way they have the bunker rakers of each group.
Oh yes,
bunker rakers of each group.
There's about 10 of a posse in every group.
Yeah, so there's
including referees and marshals and
bunker rakers. He finished in the 18th and was raking away. And he got out the grandstand, gave him a round of applause.
And it is, it's very much, a golfing crowd.
Yeah.
They're really into their golf.
Yeah.
At the Irish Open, certainly at Ballyliffin,
yeah,
it was a very different vibe, because it was a much more family.
It was almost like a festival.
It was like a festival, yes. Yeah. And loads of local people turned out for the crack.
Yeah.
And they turned up for the beer and the concerts and a lovely day out in the glorious weather and a bit of golf.
And it was brilliant.
Whereas at the Open, you could really tell serious heads.
Yeah, people had a good shot, they got rewarded. People had a bad shot. All you could hear in the crowd was, he should have done that, he should have done the other thing, he should have.
The disappointing thing was that we were only there for one day at Carnoustie, but flying out again on early Saturday morning. Who did we bump out at the airport going through security? Russell Knox.
Did you not think it was weird?
It was very weird.
There he is. You think Russell Knox, who won I don't know how many hundreds of thousands at the Irish Open,
a fair few,
and done well at France beforehand, was starting in line with the rest of us bleary-eyed people
waiting to go through security. With his backpack on.
No entourage. And being ignored by everybody except the two golf lunatics who had seen him at Ballyliffin, and he was chatty enough.
He was chatty. Because you were in front of me in the queue by about 20 people.
Yeah.
So you'd already seen him and clocked him. Then I'm standing there looking at my phone, and as I look up, I see this guy standing beside and go, he looks familiar. Hang on, that's Russell Knox. What about you? And he goes, hello. And I went, unlucky. And he went, oh, yeah.
He missed the cut.
And I said to him, much better fun at the Irish Open. He says, you're telling me.
Just so you kind of have these ideas of these boys flying private everywhere. But Russell was looking after himself.
Well, canny Scots.
I suppose, saving a few pounds.
There was a number of big stories to emerge from Sunday's final round. Of course, Tiger Woods being in contention again. Now, on the Saturday afternoon, I stuck up a wee tweet saying I never thought I'd see this on day 3 of an Open Champ or of major championship, which was a Tiger at the top, -6
on the leaderboard. Yeah.
I expected even less to see it happen again on Sunday.
He was pretty good
at -7, and the juices were flowing. I have to say, I was on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, because let's be honest, we're not anti Woods, but the hype that's gone with Woods' return, we've poo-pooed it a fair bit. Like this Tiger, the Tiger tracker.
No, I think you find that I've always been in favour and have supported him to the hilt the whole way through. I think it was you that was really taking a little bit of a different opinion.
Yeah. The Tiger tracker on Golf Channel was one that really got you going.
Was, yes.
40 minutes late tees off. Who cares? But he played some lovely golf. It was possibly suited him, but he still played some lovely golf.
And then he just had that wee trip up, and then it's such a. And the funny thing with Rory saying in the presser, which I think we'll hear in a wee second, but just Rory saying I wanted to spoil his party.
Well, that was good. It was good to see Rory feeling that well. He was determined to get into it.
Yeah, he was going well, and he had that little bump of a double and a single bogey, threw him off, and then some bull bag on the 18th was shouting in his backswing. So,
do you think that boy got a hammering?
He got thrown out.
That he could.
Oh, he was ejected. Yeah. So, but you heard him. Oh no! And he hit the. But actually, he still parred it.
Yeah, but even still, do you see the reaction of the crowd round you, Manny?
I know. But that's why it's a golf.
It's proper. Don't muck about. Don't muck about.
Get them out. So Rory finishing second, tied four places, 4 people in second place.
Yeah, it was indeed. Yeah.
A bit of a collapse from -9 for Spieth.
Yeah. I don't think. Let's be honest. We were there on the Friday. And on the Friday, didn't he hit about 2 or 3 fairways in total and still shot 1 or 2 under?
Yeah.
So you got the feeling he was grinding those first 2 days. He got it together Saturday, but then that's sort of summed up a season. It's just not been there.
Finished on -4. The other 2 boys, 3 over for the last round, finished on -6.
Yeah.
Schauffele and Kisner.
Yeah.
Kisner was kind of up and down, and you thought it was going to happen for Kisner.
Yeah, he's a very, very steady player, but I think maybe not his first time, isn't it? I think I could be wrong. But
in contention.
Really being in contention, and maybe it just got a wee bit too much for him,
Best round of the day, Eddie Pepperell.
Hungover. What a brilliant story.
4 under. So it was out there to a certain degree.
Yeah. And being the type of fella that he is, he was open and honest about it and said, I thought I'd shot myself out of it Saturday, drowned my sorrows, woke up a bit fuzzy Sunday and shot a 67.
As you do.
And all club golfers around the world punched the air and went, that's me every Friday night before I go out my medal round.
Best round of the tournament, was it Rose?
64, wasn't it?
64.
Brilliant, yeah.
And that was on his 3rd round.
He got himself into contention as well, yeah.
Yep.
From a European point of view, it was a brilliant tournament. The sort of the US dominance over the last 3 events was sort of washed away a bit, and to have Rose and Rory and Molinari and Noren knocking about for a while was great to see.
Well, I have to say my nerves were wrecked on Sunday afternoon watching Rory.
You really thought Rory was going to do it? I never thought he was close enough.
I didn't think he was at the start of the day, and then he goes and does that blooming eagle thing that he tends to do on a final round.
Yeah.
And suddenly, bang, he's back up there, and I'm thinking, oh, so then suddenly, up on the seat and right, let's go, But then, he didn't do it. But let's hear what he had to say after the round.
Played well. I could have squeezed one more out of the round today. It was, when I made the eagle on 14, it was tough to get close on 15, 16 and 17. The only real chance was at the last, and came out of the wedge shot a little bit, but still left myself a putt where, it was holeable. But I think anything under par out there today was a good score. I'm happy with how I played. I didn't get off to a great start, but I hung in there and I battled back and just sort of ran out of holes at the end. Maybe when I made birdie on 11, I saw that Tiger was leading on his own at 7 at that point. I just got into 5. So, 2 behind with a few holes left. I thought I was right in it. But yeah, when the eagle putt went in on 14, I felt, if I could, get 1 or 2 out of these last 4 holes, but it was just tough, where they'd put the pins, and with the wind, it was tough to get them close and tough to make birdies. And as I said, the only real chance was at the last, and even if I had held that putt, I would have came up 1 short. Just to be a part of it and hear the roars and Tiger being back in the mix and everything. There's a lot of big names up there, and it was nice to be a part of it. And I looked for a while that Tiger was going to win, and one of my mindset was I'm going to spoil the party here. So that was, it was cool. It was really cool. I've no regrets. I played the way I wanted to play this week, and it gives me a lot of encouragement going into the final major of the year.
Here's the thing. Rory played, by Rory standards, pretty okay average golf. Didn't set the world on fire.
No, but I wondered afterwards, I would agree with that, and then I thought afterwards maybe it wasn't the type of course to do that. I think he had a very tight game plan and he stuck to it.
Yeah. Rose had a 64.
Yeah, so it possibly was on, but I thought Rory was actually, he talked beforehand about going to hit driver everywhere and all that, and the end up I thought he played reasonably conservative, although maybe his wedge game wasn't as tight again as it should have been. I think he had a couple of 400-yard drives and he was left with 90 or 100 into the flag, and I still leaving it 30 feet away.
Well, I thought for his standards it was pretty average golf, 69, 69, 70, 70, and he still tied second.
Yeah.
So I just did a quick look at some of the stats. Round 1, 27% of fairways in regulation, 78% greens in regulation, 31 putts, and he was 2 under.
Yeah.
Then round 3, 67% fairways, 61% greens, 26 putts, and 1 under, 70. So, and then on the last day,
when it was windiest, it was the toughest conditions probably.
He still did better hitting the fairway, 40%. Greens in regulation 61, 28 putts and 1 under. Now, so his putting, apart from the first day, where you could say, they're just kind of getting used to it a wee bit and getting used to it. Apart from the first day, his putting was fine, so that wasn't an issue this time.
I just didn't think he was hitting it close enough.
Exactly, just wasn't quite as good with his iron play as he had been on the first day at Ballyliffin, for example.
But there was no major blowouts and no real huge mistakes, which was good to see.
Yeah. Similarly for Mr. Molinari,
who was just
no mistakes at all.
2 rounds on the weekend were quite stunning. 8 under, no bogeys, and he didn't look like he could miss on the greens.
But it was just a case of fairways, greens, fairways, greens,
but
fairways,
you
greens.
could say that, but he was,
Is it that easy?
It's obviously not easy. He has been playing so well, and that's what his game's built on. But he was hitting in the right places. He was, he knew exactly what he was doing. If he had to shape it a wee bit, he shaped it a wee bit either way. He hit it in the right parts of the greens, and even when he left himself, he'd tricky up and downs. He was getting those putts, which in the past had eluded him. A deserved winner.
Would you say it was, dare I say, boring golf?
I would call it championship winning golf.
Championship winning golf. And which would you prefer? If you had the opportunity, would you rather be a sort of streaky but flash player that is very exciting at times, or would you rather be the boring?
I would rather be the boring clock up millions type of golfer that Franco Molinari can be.
But
from an entertainment point of view,
yeah.
Yes, on his day he's still going to shoot low rounds, Morris, because when he really gets hot with the putter, he's going to hit it closer, But he's just not going to shoot big high rounds either. And let's be honest, he was a class act. Like, you can't knock that.
I wonder if you were to ask most pro golfers, what would they rather be? A bit exciting but a bit streaky and patchy, but the crowds love it, or as consistent as Francesco and.
You can guess what they're going to say. Which pays the bills?
Well, no. If you get enough wins, being exciting, just to pay the bills and to have 30 million in the bank, but you don't maybe get 3 wins in the last 3 months or whatever.
Stop it. Mr. Francesco Molinari is not boring.
No, I'm not saying he is. I'm just suggesting that maybe it's it's. I mean, we'd all love to be there. You're not playing along with me at all.
I'm not biting on this one.
The Tiger connection, I thought was quite interesting with Molinari.
Yes, him and the brother.
Him and the brother, right? So they made a childhood pact that whoever got to play in a major first, the other one would caddy for them. So back in 2006 at the Masters, Eduardo was the first one to get into a major.
Because he had won the US Amateur.
The US Amateur, so Francesco caddied for him.
Exactly.
And who were they paired with?
Mr. Tiger Woods.
2012.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Who did Francesco beat in a singles match?
Mr. Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods. 2018. Quicken Loans.
Yes.
Just there a few months ago.
Who handed the prize over?
Who presented the trophy?
Tiger Woods.
2018, the Open. Who was on -7 at one stage and paired together?
Tiger Woods.
Irish Open. 2015. Now you see, now you've changed.
County Down.
Royal County Down. Molinari puts up a photograph of Royal County Down on Twitter and says, "Don't know what all the fuss is about with these views." Right? Right? Who was it didn't realise he was being sarcastic and replied, "What, is your head cut?"
Tiger Woods?
Me! To which followed a barrage of abuse from Italians all around the world. I didn't know he was being sarcastic. The photograph was crap. It actually wasn't a very good photograph. I thought he was being serious and saying the views at Royal County Down are rubbish. So I took him to task, and
I believe he's quite a dry sense of humour.
Well, that's it. You say it was very dry, and he came back to me and said I was being sarcastic. So anyway, here, let's hear what he had to say after he won.
Relief, to be honest. It's amazing to stand here with the claret jug. I felt really good this morning when I came here. I felt like I was ready for the challenge. Obviously conscious that it could have gone either way, but I knew I was gonna do my best today. You know, to look at the names on that claret jug, obviously, what can you say? It's the best golfers in history, and to be on there, it's incredible. Hopefully there were a lot of young kids watching on TV today, like I was watching Costantino in '95 coming so close, and hopefully they will get as inspired as I was at the time watching him fight for the claret jug.
Get the best prices on every round of golf with Hot Deals Tee Times exclusively from Golf Now. Available at more than 1,600 golf clubs throughout the UK and Ireland. Hot Deals save you up to 80% on thousands of tee times daily. Find the flame and save every time you play with Hot Deals, only from Golf Now.
Right, all being well, it means that come 2019, Francesco will be doing that slightly weird thing where he turns upside Royal Portrush to hand back the trophy to the RNA CEO. Martin slumbers live on Sky Sports.
Just say he forgets. Just say he forgets to pack it.
I'm not giving it back.
And it's, he's there on TV and he says, I knew there was something I forgot.
It's left at the hotel. Well, Molinari's performance, particularly over the weekend, when he somehow didn't drop a shot, was exceptional, and I'm sure it's one that impressed our next guest. That's Royal Portrush head professional Gary McNeil. So Gary, I know you were over at Carnoustie for a few days. What about Molinari's performance? What did you make of it?
He was flawless over the weekend, Paul. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, he'd shown a lot of form this year already. He'd won at Wentworth, and he'd won in the States as well. So he was one that actually, prior to the event, I thought, having played the course myself 3 weeks before the Open, I thought that it would suit someone who was a particularly straight hitter and very precise as he is from tee to green.
That's the word I was looking for. Not precise.
Yes. He maybe described it as dull.
No, I didn't say that. I said it was very calculated, and the word boring never crossed my lips.
Yeah. But for Molinari, I think a lot of it boils down to how he putts. And I think that seems to be that was the missing piece of the jigsaw puzzle, was that all of a sudden he's got his putting sorted out this year, and he's holding a lot more putts. Confidence is up as well, but he played great over the weekend. I mean, to not drop a shot over the final two rounds on a course like that, where there's a lot of bunkers off the tee and a lot of bunkers that you can't really advance the ball too far out of as well, and he seemed to play a game where he kept himself out of trouble and hold those short putts, as we were saying, just when he needed to. But a wonderful performance. He played the 18th hole superbly as well.
Even from your perspective, Gary, as a pro, how did the course play for you?
It was very firm. It was very, very, burnt up. They had very little rain. Carnoustie gets very little rain anyway, so it was very, very dry. The course was playing quite short, and there wasn't very much rough either. But I think really the greens themselves were putting nicely, and they were holding reasonably well. When they did get a wee bit of rain, I think it was Friday afternoon, Friday evening, there was a wee bit of rain came through, and that kind of softened things up. The weekend, the scoring was a wee bit better, albeit Sunday it got a bit windy, and that obviously kept the scores down a bit, but.
And did you think that 8 under was going to be about right from when you played?
I think prior to the tournament, I probably thought the scoring would be better. Haven't played it. I think it came back here. I thought, it could be sort of up to 12-15 under. You'd need to win this, but no, I think the pins were tucked, mind you. The first day, certainly. It was, I was there and had a look at some of them, and they were very difficult to get at. The RNA had them put into some pretty precarious positions out there, but. No, it's great. It was a good tournament, and I have to say a very, very good venue as well in terms of getting the spectators in and out. It was pretty slick. The car park and the railway station was only 3 minutes from the front entrance as well, and it was an easy course to get around in terms of walking. It was flat off the fairways, and a good tented village and a good buzz about the place as well. I mean, the numbers were pretty good for a Carnoustie Open, and there was a good atmosphere, and Tiger certainly added a lot to the event as well. The fact that not only was he playing, but he was actually in contention too, which was that was a pretty big deal for them.
And do you find that you're now more scared now you've come back, or less scared than before you went?
I think we're well prepared, to be honest. Certainly from my point of view, retailing and the merchandise. I've probably been. So this is probably 3 years ago. I probably started looking at it. I have the guys who are my counterparts, the club professionals at the other host venues have been. They've been very. Generous with their information, have been very good to me.
That's good,
passing on information, and looking at just the pitfalls and the things that you could expect potentially when the Open comes along. And obviously this being the last one, this was my last opportunity sort of to glean any information that I might find useful come the time. Colin Sinclair, the head professional at Carnoustie, Colin and I have been good friends for a long number of years, so he was a great guy to link in with. And
what is some of that advice, or some of those pitfalls? What are sort of enough stock in and all that kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. And the stock that sells, things that you think maybe before the Open that you think, well, that might sell quite well, actually maybe didn't sell particularly well. But there's things like pin flags, for example. The traditional yellow pin flag. I mean, we can't keep enough of those in stock.
Just watching even some of the people who are coming in out today are buying those and taking them with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're selling stacks of those, and we're just make sure we've lots of kind of orders placed and stock held with suppliers that we can draw from as and when we need it.
I can maybe give you a wee bit of insight there, having been Michael Bannon's assistant many years ago in Hollywood. Mars bars.
Yeah, plenty of Mars bars.
I sold more Mars bars than any other assistant.
No. You slipped a few Mars bars because you were a Mars bars fan yourself.
That's terrible. It's a terrible thing to say.
In terms of your own role and the retailing and merchandising, you're part of the senior management team here, so you've been sitting in on all the meetings and organising all this. Is there, what other sort of areas are you looking at, or in terms of your own role now?
Well, my own role going forward, I think a lot of it will start next year whenever. The circus will roll into town here 1st of April. The grandstands will start going up, etc.
Now, just the 1st of April they're starting.
1st of April, yeah, absolutely. That's the. So we're down to weeks now. As opposed to
we were saying something like 340 something days, but you actually are counting the days.
That's it. Oh, we have our schedule for next year. We know what's happening, pretty much when it's happening. We've got the dates for the Patrons' Days. So the companies like NTT Data and Doosan and MasterCard, Rolex that are partners with the RNA for the championship itself, they each have one, maybe two Patrons' Days where a former Open champion will come along and pretty much host them for the day.
Because I saw Tom Watson doing it this year for Doosan. Yeah.
Tom Watson was involved. Gary Player was certainly involved for a couple too. Darren Clark. They had Paul Lowry, Jean Van de Velde, Podrick Harrington gets involved in those as well. So we know the dates for those next year. When the days the companies are going to be coming in already, and I'll start to link in with the organisers, to just lend a hand on those days really, and just be on hand to
show them around, show them the ropes.
Absolutely, yeah. And then really going forward, there's going to be a lot of media stuff really, with the introducing the course for all the kind of overseas TV networks, etc. Maybe doing pieces out on the course and describing the holes and how they potentially might play and what sort of a challenge they would be during the tournament itself. So
how is your Japanese?
It's not bad. It's coming on. A few subtitles.
You're talking about the course. You're Molinari, precise player. Is that the sort of player who's going to do the business out there?
It's very early for a prediction, Paul.
I'm asking him up now.
Are you looking good odds, Paul? Right?
Yes, because after my performance at this year's Open, the bookies cleaned me.
Absolutely, yeah.
It is.
What if he continues playing the way he plays? Royal Portrush is a driver's golf course. You need to drive the ball in play off the golf course. It's long now too. I mean, we've added quite a bit of yardage to the course just in preparation for the tournament coming along. I think next year you can't really, unless conditions are the way they were at Carnoustie this year, you can't really get away with just putting an iron off the tee or a driving iron or something like that there. What they were doing at Carnoustie was putting it out 220 yards, letting it run another 30 or so, and they're in position. At Royal Portrush on the Dunluce links there, you need to drive the ball and you need to hit the driver to get yourself into a position where you can then get to the pins. It's an incredibly fair golf course in that the shorter holes have got smaller, tighter greens to hit into, whereas the longer holes, the greens are a wee bit more generous and so on. So I think being a good driver of the ball really does help.
Well, does local knowledge and experience have much to bear on playing here at Royal Portrush? Just thinking back, obviously it's changed a bit since Rory did his thing, but would that help some of the local boys?
Absolutely. I think the local boys will be they'll be getting well prepared, ahead of the championship. Who knows? Darren Clark. His game hasn't been as good as it has been in previous years recently. But between now and then, obviously he's gone off now to to the Champions Tour in the US. So by the time it comes around, potentially his game could be in better shape. Nobody plays more here than he does. We're hoping that Graham's going to make it through as well. Rory is the obvious contender. Someone whose his game certainly. We're all delighted to see his game coming back again. And
Warwick Harrington Ritz was one of his favourite golf courses.
Yes, exactly.
Would it be fair to say then that the conditions that we're experiencing at Carnoustie would be unusual? Let's be honest, and certainly unusual for this part of the world.
Yeah.
And our traditional conditions are, say, north of Ireland conditions: bit of wind.
Bit of rain,
bit more wind.
Bit of rain and a bit more wind. As you say, you can't play, particularly some of those new holes, without being able to hit it long.
Yeah.
So the idea of just sort of playing for position is not just going to be as easy.
Yeah.
But we have built new holes here. In Carnoustie, they talked about those final 3 or 4 holes being really testing. So looking forward to this year is next year, is there 3 or 4 holes here that are going to be the same? Like, can you pick out 3 or 4 holes and say, if you get round them in par, you're going to be doing right?
Well, there's going to be instantly. There's a very tough stretch now, starting probably with that new par 5, Paul. Our new 7th hole. 600-yard par 5. Where certainly the further up the hole you go, the tighter it gets. So for those that are taking the green on, they're going to need to make sure they're precise or they're on line with the second shot. So you've got the 7th, the new 8th, which requires a long carry off the tee to get into position, then to play to the green. You then go through to what used to be the old 7th, which is now the 9th, and that traditionally the stroke index 1 hole here. The new 10th is again from the new championship tee. That's a beast of a hole now, where it used to be a sort of a long iron and then a medium iron into the green, and then you go through to what used to be the 9th, which is now the 11th hole, traditionally a par 5, which they're going to play as a par 4. So there's a stretch of holes there in the middle of the golf course that are brutal, and then you couple that with the finish. Starting with Calamity Corner is now the 16th, so it's right in a very, very
nice position,
dangerous point in the round. You've got the 17th, which is a risk and reward par 4 as well, where somebody who's maybe feels that they can get it down the hill and get it down close to the green. Potentially there could be a 2-shot swing there on the likes of that, and then the 18th is from the new championship tee. It's at just about 470 from back there. That's a tough finishing hole as well.
So effectively, what you're saying is, if you can play the first 4 holes here in under par, then you're hanging on for the rest of the night.
Exactly, pretty much so.
The new layout's been in place since back in April this year. What's the reaction been like from the members and from any of the pros that have played the course now compared to the old course?
Yeah, no, they're very complimentary about it, and I think that's the design is superb. I mean, we're very lucky that we were able to build 2 new holes in arguably the most beautiful part of the golf course as well. And it's very, very scenic out there. You're right out at the Curran Strand and the White Rocks, and you can hear the ocean behind the big sand dune there. I think a testimony to Graham Beat and his team of guys here. We get golfers coming off the course who don't even know that they are new holes, and that's
they think it's bedded in so well.
That's how well they've bedded in and how well maintained they are now as well. And so I think those that had played the course previously and who now have played the course with the new holes in play and the old 17th and 18th out are very complimentary. And the general consensus is that it's a stronger golf course than what it was previously.
And I think the week course has actually benefited as well, because I love now the new layout on the week course as well, especially the 17, 18.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, there's cracking holes.
I'm
and
convinced the 18th on the week course. The week course is not that way. On the
Valley Links.
I think it's the best hole in the course on either course.
Well, it's lovely to.
It's a lovely view.
It's lovely to be able to see. You see the beach and the sea from the new 18th tee up there, where you didn't normally get to see that down in the valley. But no, the valley's like it's a hidden gem. We all love it. It's
and it'll be out of play totally, obviously, during the Open Championship. Yeah,
it will be. Yeah, the practice area will be down on the 4th fairway, 4th, 5th, and actually over to the 10th fairways as well. There's going to be sort of like a big sort of triangular shape sort of to it. The players will play to certainly where the 10th green is now over there. And certainly around the first tee area and the second green, second fairway area, there's going to be a lot going on there as well, with the spectator entrance, etc. In that area. We will have, I think we'll have a sort of a 9-hole loop around the starting from the 8th that the members will be able to use up to pretty close to the tournament itself, and they'll be able to get a wee bit of golf here. But I think normally other local golf clubs are normally very good at allowing the Royal Portrush members to come and play. Around the time of a championship.
And so, just finally, is there anything that you took away from Carnoustie that surprised you? Anything you weren't expecting, or they just?
Not really. I think from my point of view, just listening, going back to linking in with Colin there, the head pro, there was great demands on his time more than anything else, and I think things tend to be sort of sprung on you as well. You might be
bloody media.
You might be rolling along thinking that you might wander out and watch somebody play a hole or two or whatever, and then the next thing he's pulled in to do something. He was doing commentary for the Golf Channel. In the evenings as well. Good, so he was doing things like that. So it's a long day, plenty of sleep, and keep yourself in good shape on the run into the tournament. I think that's the key to it. That you're ready to go. And also, just speaking to him even after the event, there's quite a bit going on this week there too. There's a lot of people playing. There's a lot of patrons were sort of straight in on Monday, and
I was going to say it's very busy out there today. It's
my goodness, we're flat out here all the time. There's golfers going out. This is a particular Thursday's a day where we've played both in the morning and in the afternoon, so that's one of the busier days of the week. But there's golfers going off there. Goodness, it's right up to 5 o'clock today. So. And
did you find the phone started ringing that wee bit more on Monday and Tuesday? Just after,
yeah.
Whenever it appeared on the big yellow board, Royal Portrush.
That's right. Yeah, that was a special moment. Certainly, I was looking forward to seeing that, and watching the presentation and listening to Darren Clark as well, and then actually seeing it then on the big yellow scoreboard, it was fantastic.
You must have got a wee chill.
Very much so, yeah. It's over to us now, and we've got a few months ahead of us now to really get ourselves organised and ready. And but it's like everything that happens here, it's. There's no stone left unturned, Wilma Erskine, our secretary manager, Wilma's in charge of everything. We've got a great team from John Bambers, the chairman of the championship committee, and Philip Tweedy is the deputy chief marshal, and we've got a great team of people there that all have their own responsibilities, and they're in the process of gathering up their teams that are, they're going to look after all the various aspects of it come the time. So
and every golfer and every fan in Northern Ireland is going to be right behind Royal Portrush to deliver probably one of the most amazing opens in the history of the Open. It's going to be such an exciting time.
It's very exciting, and the ticket sales have been off the charts already. You can see that, and just going by the Irish Open that we hosted here back in 2012, how well that went, and how many people wanted to come along and watch the players. I think that's. I'm sure it's going to be every bit as good as that.
The wee bike sheds in the caravan park, I hear they're available for accommodation. We can't get a caravan; they've all gone already. But the wee bike sheds that they put the bikes in, apparently we can rent one of those. So we'll get one of those. Gary, thank you for your time, sir. It's been an amazing insight into what's going to be happening.
No, it was a pleasure.
Cheers, thanks.
Yep.
One of the premier Challenge Tour events of the year, the NI Open, hosted by Modest Golf, returns to Galgorm Castle from the 16th to the 19th of August. Register now for your free tickets at niopen.golf.
The golf season rolls on, and Stephanie Meadow continues her strong play on the Symetra Tour. Stephanie has moved up to second in the Volvic race for the card ranking following her playoff defeat at the Daniel Downey Classic. The Symetra Tour has moved on to Albany, New York this week. Stephanie is in action along with Leona Maguire.
Yeah, the European Tour is back in action in Germany for the Porsche European Open. We've only two sort of people playing this week. There's Rory McGee and Gavin Moynihan are both in action.
The Challenge Tour is in Austria for the Euro Bank Open. Paul McBride, Brian Casey, Cormac Sharvin, Michael Hoey, Johnny Caldwell, Dermot McElroy, Gary Hurley and Daniel Brennan are all competing. What a great field.
Yeah, good field there. The Senior Open Championship gets underway today at St Andrews, Graham's hometown.
Indeed.
Paul McGinley and Brent McGovern in action, along with Roland Rafferty, Eamon Dorsey and our mate Dave Smith.
And on the US Tour, GMAC, Seamus Power and Shane Lowry are playing in the RBC Canadian Open at Glen Abbey GC. Lowry has replaced his longtime caddy Dermot Byrne with his brother Alan for the next few weeks anyway, as he tries to ignite his season. He wasn't in good form at the Open.
No, he wasn't. Do you remember I said to you when we were there on the Friday, I said, why has he got Neil Manchip on the bag?
Because he got rid of Dermot.
Interesting now, Alan Lowry's a hell of a golfer. He's played Leinster golf, so he's a good player. So hopefully that's just what Shane needs to get him going, So
he
Rory,
needs something.
He does. He needs something.
He needs a bit of, I don't know, he's very hard on himself. At the Irish Open, you could tell he wasn't that keen.
Yeah, he said something had to change, and something has changed.
Something had to change. He's questioning why the media wanted to talk to him and all.
That's right. Rory McIlroy's next event will be the WGC Bridgestone Invitational. It'll start next month. And his joint second place finish at the Open saw him replace Lee Westwood on top of the European Tour's all-time career money list with, wait for it, €35 million, 110,780 euro.
How do we drop in the pocket?
That's mental. The former world number one is a 13-time European Tour winner. That's including race to Dubai victories in 2012, 2014 and 2015. And he has 82 top 10 finishes to his name with 4 major championships.
That's
average career.
And on the LET, the Ladies Scottish Open is on at Gullen. That's followed on Monday by the final qualifier for the Rico Women's British Open.
Take all the hassle out of your golf travel and rent your clubs before you fly. Clubs to Hire offer the very latest sets from just £32 per week, including the brand new M4 clubs from TaylorMade. And Clubs to Hire have just opened 3 new locations in Australia. That's 26 locations worldwide. So wherever you're travelling to play golf, choose the easy option and hire your clubs at clubstohire.com.
Now, back here at Royal Portrush, the early preparations are underway for the British Boys Amateur Championship, which takes place from the 14th to the 19th of August. The qualifying rounds will be held both here at Royal Portrush and also at Port Stewart, before the match play stages continue here over the Dunluce course. And it's going to be a great opportunity for the RNA to assess the renovated links with one eye on how things look for next year, which probably means that our next guest is in for another busy couple of weeks. He's Graham Bett, who actually hails from St Andrews, would you believe? Yeah. He was appointed as course manager here at Royal Portrush in 2014, and he's been overseeing some of the massive changes to the course in preparation for hosting the Open. And he was over at Carnoustie, allegedly working.
Allegedly working.
He said he was... What time did you say you were getting up at?
3 o'clock.
It's very early for hospitality, isn't it? To start on the whiskey at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll ask you the same question that I asked Gary. Are you more scared or less scared now that you come back from Carnoustie than you were before you went?
Less, I think. I think it's more exciting now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting closer. It sort of feels more real.
Yeah.
And it was actually brilliant to get such an insight and, you know, all the little tweaks and changes that are made to just make the course play the way it does. So that's really why I went. Sandy and Craig, Sandy is the links manager, so he's in charge of all the courses. Craig's the head greenkeeper on the championship course. So they spent quite a lot of time with myself and Paul, my deputy, and Chris Calvin, our irrigation technician. We all went over. Aaron, one of our greenkeepers, was there for the week. So he was there sort of morning and evening for the whole week. So they spent a lot of time with us, showed us around everything, showed us all the contractors' compounds, TV compounds, so all the sort of things that you wouldn't necessarily see if you were a normal spectator. So it was great.
In terms of the number of staff that you have now and the number of staff you're going to raise to, it gives an idea of current staffing levels at Royal Portrush and what it's likely to be in the middle of the championship.
Okay, well, at the moment, including part-time workers, we've got 27. For the Open, we'll probably go to about 55. So we'll have quite a lot of volunteers. Quite a lot of them will be ex-staff, local greenkeepers who maybe want to come back and know the course a little bit already. And then we've got an Australian, and we've got some guys from Scotland and England as well. So
have already lined themselves up. They're already booked in to do it.
2 years ago, we organised most of our volunteers.
Wow. Gary said one of the things that he took away from Carnoustie was the fact that all the fellow professionals who host the Open and the other courses just give him so much insight and so many tips and so many things to watch out for.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was very similar with the greenkeepers.
Yeah, just the same, really. And as I say, going to Carnoustie was so good because they've hosted so many Opens before. And there's a good percentage of the staff there have been at the last 2 Opens previous to this one. So they told us how it's changed and sort of evolved over the years and grown. So that's been really good. But yeah, just the size of it is just incredible.
Well, there's one thing we were talking about, because obviously we were here for the Open Championship, for the Irish Open. We've been here. I'm here for the North and all that. And you know, for most clubs, 27 greenkeepers is a lot. But then you go to the Open Championship and they've got, as I was saying, a bunker raker with every single group.
Yeah.
Who, you know, he's not just, you know, some fella plucked out of the crowd. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Well,
so it's a level of detail. It's attention to detail that I find pretty remarkable, you know.
Well, the BIGA, or the Greenkeepers Association, British International Greenkeepers Association, so they bring the bunker rakers separately, so there's another 50 of those.
The size of the operation is just...
But they're all qualified greenkeepers, so they're giving up their holidays, giving up their time, you know, paying themselves, sort of paying their own way over. Yeah, exactly.
And rake the bunker.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's amazing, isn't it? We know we've heard, you've been on with us before, just chatting about the changes to the course and the new holes and stuff. But just infrastructure wise, there's probably been quite a few sort of infrastructure changes to the course, to under the course, to around the course, for cables, for irrigation, for all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
That must have been a mammoth task as well over the last few years.
It has been, yeah. That was probably one of the biggest jobs we've done on the golf course. There's 2 miles of new roads, which are all tarmac. A good percentage of that's sort of motorway spec with full curbs and ducting, mains water all around the course, sewage all around the course, fibre.
Yeah, the fibre optics, I heard about that. How many miles of fibre optics were it? 5 or 6 miles or something?
It was I think it was 15 kilometres in total.
15 kilometres of fibre optic cables to carry all the TV signals.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's mental. And that's not, and that's aside from just the getting the course, once the course was built, all the changes were made, getting it back up to playable spec, so to speak.
Yeah, and because the golf course is so undulating, getting heavy machinery and diggers and dumpers and earth moved around was really difficult.
And you built a new compound even for yourselves and moved a whole lot of earth through it.
Yeah, brand new sheds.
They're not sheds now. They're 5-star. There's recliners in every corner, big 65-inch TVs and all that.
All we do is play cards and things.
Is there much more of that infrastructure work still to go, or are you pretty much done with all that main building work?
Almost finished. All the building work's finished.
Okay.
We've got a few little tweaks to make for buggy paths around the course, but they'll just be grass.
Okay.
So there's 400 TV buggies, as far as I'm led to believe. So we have to try and get them around the course safely and away from walking spectators.
And even the TV compound, which is going to be somewhere nearby, that's huge by itself.
That's going to be in East Strand Car Park.
Okay.
And the hockey pitch down there.
Right.
So apparently there's 1,000 people based there.
That's aside from the media centre, which is on site.
Yeah.
The number of people is mind-boggling. Graham, the course out there now, I know Royal Portrush like to think that their course is championship standard all the time. And you're going to say, yes, it is. But, can you sort of explain, or is there a way of explaining how that goes up a notch for the championship? Is it just, every blade of grass type approach, or is it something particular that you do to the golf course to get it to that standard?
I think it starts a long way out, and the members have been really good. They've sort of committed to being on mats from November right through till the Open.
Wow.
So there'll be fairway mats in place.
So there'll be no divots in that golf course?
No divots.
Right, okay.
Hopefully. And so we're doing that, and then the golf course will close about 3.5 weeks before the Open.
Okay.
So just that rest from the foot traffic and trolleys and things makes a huge difference.
Okay. What about the greens? Anything special done there?
Again, we've done all of the major work to the greens really. Just sort of following our programme that we're on at the moment.
That you would normally do anyway.
And top dressing. Yeah, exactly. So we had the STRI here today who do all the testing for the RNA. And they do all the testing throughout the championship. So they've got a smoothness, trueness meter. They stimp them and take the speed, and then test the firmness.
Okay.
So we were within their open parameters today when we tested them.
So that's interesting to know. The people who are turning up to play now today are getting pretty much, not far away from where the course will be in a year's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of, it was very burnt out, obviously, in Carnoustie. And, yes, we'd love to see that. It's not the likelihood of it being like that's very slim, let's be honest, okay? We'd love to say we're going to get another scorching
summer, but,
let's be honest.
Highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely. Rough-wise out there, the rough's boiled down. It has been all summer here.
Yeah.
Have you been what have they said to you about the rough?
Well, we were looking at it on Monday, and obviously it's quite burnt this year and it's thinner than it would normally be. I think we're going to be a lot more selective about the rough that we cut and collect. Normally, every year we've got a rough management plan where we would cut and we would gather up all the grass. But this year we're going to be more selective and there'll be less cutting done.
Yes,
so should thicken up next year.
Yeah, there'll be a few areas maybe where you don't want to find yourself next year.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be. I've been in most of them.
Exactly.
Now you've got the British Boys is coming. Next year, so I'm sure some of the RNA people will be over to have a look at setup and what they can possibly do. Have you anything lined up for that next week?
Well, that's mid-August.
Yeah.
So We've sort of had some inspections. All we have to do now is set the pins, choose all the pin positions. We know the tee positions that we're going to use. So that's really up to the RNA to do.
Are they going to use, as far back, are they going to use championship tees?
Yeah.
So this is going to be the course as the RNA would like it for the event itself.
I think weather depending, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But they're saying that some of these
young fellas can hit it miles.
Yeah.
Yes, they can.
It'll be an interesting run out to see how well they cope.
Yeah.
Well, even last year when they gave the North the first run on the links, so that was a useful barometer. But these are from all around the world. Now you're talking about the best boys in the world going to be here, so it'll be a step up from that.
And you'll be here covering it.
Fingers
as
crossed.
The chairman. Did you hear about his title? He's chairman now. He's been made chairman Mao of the Irish Golf Writers Association.
Really?
He is the boss.
Congratulations.
Thanks very much, Graham. I really appreciate that.
That's well deserved.
He uses it as an excuse to abuse me every time he gets a chance.
Graham, can we impose upon you to maybe grab a buggy and take us out for a quick nosy, and we'll stick up a video log of it as well, just to have a wee nosy.
Yeah, no problem.
And in the meantime, very, very kind of you to come in and have a chat to us.
Thanks very much.
Thanks now.
Thanks very much, Graham.
Thank you.
Andrew Morris Golf now offers 12 months interest-free credit on everything bought online and in store. New golf clubs or that electric trolley you've been dreaming of for as little as £30 per month. Drive the extra mile to drive away happy. Check out andrewmorrisgolf.com for full terms and conditions. Andrew Morris Golf on the web and at Laganview Golf Centre, Lambeg.
On with the amateur news, please.
Yeah, Hermitage golfer Kate Lanigan is a new Irish girls close champion. She beat Killarney's Valerie Clancy at Clandyboy.
Seapoint's Dylan Keaton won the Under-16 Boys Open Championship at Donegal. His 2 rounds of 76 and 69 earned him a 2-shot win over Lisburn's Josh Black.
And County Louth's Deirdre Smith has been confirmed as the ILGU Scratch Cup circuit winner for the second time. She won at Royal County Down in early April. Then she's travelled the length and the breadth of the country playing all these Scratch Cups. She carried 3 more runner-up finishes and a course record at Royal Portrush in the Sarah Bolton Scratch Cup.
The South of Ireland Championship is ongoing at Lahinch as we speak. Irish international 18-year-old Kilkenny's Mark Power and 19-year-old Rhys Black from Hilton Templepatrick, who was the youngest winner of the East of Ireland in 2017, both posted rounds of 65 on the opening day. A cut will be made today, and the leading 64 players progressing on to the match play stages.
And the ILG has named their teams for the ladies and girls home internationals at at Ballybunion.
Easy for you to say. Bunny Bunyan. That's a great name. Bunny Bunyan.
Bunny Bunyan Golf Club from August 8th to 10th. The ladies' team is as follows: Sharon Burke, Louise Coffey, Paula Grant, Maria Martin, Jessica Ross, Lauren Walsh and Annabelle Wilson. And the girls' team is Sarah Byrne, Valerie Clancy, Beth Coulter, Anya Donegan, Anna Foster, Nicole Joyce Moreno and Kate, who won the Irish Girls Close Champions.
There you go.
Get the best prices on every round of golf with Hot Deals Tee Times exclusively from Golf Now. Available at more than 1,600 golf clubs throughout the UK and Ireland. Hot Deals save you up to 80% on thousands of tee times daily. Find the flame and save every time you play with Hot Deals, only from Golf Now.
And just before we go, a little bit of breaking news.
Yes, Ulster's under-16s have just won the Inter-Pros at Sleeve Russell.
Just there now.
Literally just there this morning.
Congratulations.
The Munster boys won the under-14, so congratulations.
And that's it for episode 51. Thanks to Graham, thanks to Gary for joining us here at Royal Portrush, and thanks to Wilma Erskine for her hospitality and allowing us to come and do our live podcast today. We're going to head out onto the course now with Graham and do a bit of a video log as well. So check out our YouTube channel, NI Golf Podcast on YouTube. We'll get this up in the next couple of days or so, and you can have a look at some of the work that we've been talking about here at Royal Portrush. We'll be back again in a couple of weeks' time when we'll be slap bang in the middle of the NI Open at Galgorm, another fantastic golfing event.
Brilliant, unbelievable.
It's on at the same time as the British Boys here and the British Girls Championship at Ardglass, so it's a bit of a golfing bonanza.
If you want to, you can imagine a week where you go and watch day one up at Galgorm for the NI Open, then you go over to Royal Portrush and watch a bit of the British Boys, and then on the final day you decide, you know what, I'll go to Ardglass and watch some of the British girls.
Hey, doesn't get much better than that. We'll be doing our best to keep you up to date via all of our platforms on Facebook, on Twitter, at NI Golf Podcast on Twitter, and on our YouTube channel. And from Royal Portrush,
good luck.
We'll see you.
Alright, don't touch me.
Seawood.
shaking that ass, shaking that ass, shaking that ass. Seawood, shaking that ass, shaking that ass.